That's the mon. And we're implicitly biased.
So wait. Okay, we got to talk about something else. We're not going to finish that one. All right. Kevin, in your personal opinion, I have a question.
Yep.
Do you think salt is too spicy?
What?
Do you think salt is too spicy?
Salt isn't even a spice.
Exactly. Do you think it's too spicy? What do you mean, no?
It's not too spicy. It's not even a spice. So how can it be spicy?
So when you cook food, you put salt in your food?
And more.
And more?
Yes.
Like what? Pepper?
Pepper too.
Oh my God. That's not too spicy for you?
Not to me. I do know some people who it is too spicy for.
I seen this thing and it was like, ooh, you spice things up tonight. Yeah, I've tried salt and I don't know why. It cracked me up. And ever since then, I'm like, I'm going to ask Kevin on the show.
I do want to know why I get labeled that.
What do you mean?
As a white person, I get labeled as someone who doesn't season my food. And it's kind of hurtful.
You know, the funny thing is, it's gotten to the point in my racist
your implicit bias, maybe?
No, I call it racist. It's
okay.
easier. It's easier that way. Just get past all the all that good stuff and just call it what it is. So, like my stepfather, he can't use a lot of salt anymore because his heart and his blood pressure and all that kind of stuff. So, like whenever I go over there, he puts like all these other spices, but he doesn't use salt. So like every time like something smells so good, I'm like, oh my God, that smells amazing. And like he'll be doing like a pork shoulder on the grill, and I'm thinking like, oh, this is gonna be so delicious. And I put it in my mouth, and there's like no savoriness. It's just, I mean, the other seasonings are there,
but it falls flat. But
yeah, it's just like, man, you're missing like that thing that you need to make it taste good. And I'm always like, man, you got to stop seasoning like white folks, man. We got to use salt. I mean, I know your blood pressure's up, but I mean, at least you'll die happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just decided to message you about if salt was too spicy.
Definitely not. No, I am a very big fan of all of the seasonings, all of the spices that I've tried. There's still a slew of them that I've not even dipped my toe in, like any of the Indian stuff.
Yeah.
That's just what I was going to say. Any curries or any big marsalas or any Indian stuff, just because at this point in my life I'd be the only one to eat it. We don't have any Indian in town,
right.
So I don't have a good reference point to just start on my own. So it has me kind of sketched out to even try on my own.
Well, I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago we had this fundraiser at our church. It's called All Around the World. And basically, like everybody chose a country to cook a dish from, or cook dishes from that country, and people paid to come in and sample the different dishes from different countries. And so we got India, and we cooked some of those. You know, what we looked online. I mean, we don't know what we're doing, but we looked online and found recipes for Indian dishes, and we cooked them. And I don't think I like Indian food. And when I was reading, and I watched the, you ever watch that thing on YouTube about the grandpa who like cooks food like for a village or whatever?
Yeah.
And
With the
huge pans, huge pots, and he cooks all this stuff. And I watched him all the time, and I'm like, man, that looks so good, but I don't think I'd like it. I don't like the idea of something having all the things in it, the sweet, the bitter, the spices, like having cinnamon in something savory, just because in America we don't really put cinnamon or nutmeg in things that are savory. We only put those on things that are sweet. So when you taste it in something savory, I'm just like, oh, that's disgusting,
That's because, well, in reality, America's a child as it comes to food.
Yeah.
We're only 200 something years old, where the rest of the world has been cooking like this for a long time.
Yeah. I just couldn't get down with it, I don't think.
I think it could be because you're not Indian, and you're not either using enough. I saw it was Bizarre Food, and what Andrew Zimmern thought, no, it was Guy Fieri. What he thought was a lot was normal, and they were putting cups of this seasoning in this one dish.
Oh, that's right.
And so it could be that what we know as Indian food is dumbed down to American taste.
Right.
Just like Chinese food, just like Japanese food, anything that comes to America, they have Mexican food in anywhere but like right on the border.
Right.
Is terrible because they don't use cheddar cheese. They don't use Monterey Jack or anything.
Right.
They're using completely different, but it has to dumb down to the American standards. So any Indian food we have here may be subpar.
Right.
Probably is subpar.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because that, like you said about even the Mexican food, when I was a kid, I actually had an old Mexican grandma. She, we had a lot of people that we were always associated with because of church and stuff like that. And so this old Mexican grandma came once, and she was like, "Oh, I'm going to cook you guys some food." And I mean, she cooked all day, and the stuff smelled amazing. But I thought it tasted terrible because in my mind, I'm used to like even though we live real close to the border, that we, like you said, they use a lot of American ingredients in the Mexican food. So even though it is still technically Mexican food, it doesn't have the same
the authenticity of
it. It did. And then, I mean, the food wasn't bad but I just wasn't expecting it to taste, I guess, as Mexican, I guess. I mean, I know that sounds racist, but really, I didn't expect it to taste as Mexican as it did. But I don't know, at the end of it all, I'd be willing to try it all. The older I get, the more I'm less picky. I know what I like and what I don't like as an adult, but I'm a much more willing to try things than I was when I was a kid, if that makes any sense. So I don't know.
What do you feel on like different, since you've been from Arizona all the way into Texas, what's your favorite kind of Mexican? Do you like Tex-Mex or New Mexican or Arizona Mexican better?
It's just probably extremely biased, but when I live in Texas, that was the worst Mexican food I have ever eaten in my life. And I think it's because everybody there is trying so hard to be different, to have like a different take on Mexican food. They're trying to be Tex-Mex. I went to probably like 4 or 5 different places. There was this place that was it was a Chinese themed Mexican restaurant. I was like, how does that even work? And the food was absolutely awful. It had no identity. It had no flavor. Like it just didn't make any sense. It didn't, like, they were putting like, I can't even explain to you what it was on the plate. And then I went to this other place, supposed to be a high-end Tex-Mex joint, and that was literally the worst food I had eaten the whole time I lived in Texas. Okay. But see, I have a friend who still lives there, and his family lives here, and every time he comes back home, he gets like 6 burritos and takes them back with him, and then like puts them in his refrigerator and eats them over time because he loves, but he's from Arizona, so I don't know if he just loves Arizona Mexican or not. Then again, when I would go through New Mexico, they have pretty good Mexican food there. I mean, it's actually, with their little green chilies and red chilies, their food is actually really good. But me personally, I still prefer Arizona Mexican food. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's just because I'm used to it. I'm just used to Arizona Mexican, and maybe that's all.
I think my favorite like sit down would be the stuff I've had in New Mexico trumps this place a lot. But if it's just just go to the taco stand, Arizona taco stands to me are far and above.
Oh yeah.
Like just going out down to Rodolfo's and get a carne asada. Or carnitas fries.
Oh yes, yeah. Oh, pollo asado. I remember I ordered. Where was I at? I know I was out of town, but I don't remember where it was. But I ordered pollo asado, and they were like, "What's that?" At a Mexican restaurant. And I was like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Chicken, like, chicken on the grill, like instead of carne asada, pollo asado." And they're like, "We don't have that here." And I'm like, "Who doesn't have pollo?" And then somebody explained to me. They were like, "No, like that's a regional thing. Yeah. You can't. That's not just a Mexican thing. That's your region has pollo asado. When you go outside of your region, it doesn't have it." I'm like, "Man, this sucks. I don't want to eat no Mexican food here." Like, I don't want none of this crap. But I don't know. But anyways, I guess that is what it is.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go eat some Indian food.
Or Mexican food.
Or any other food than what you're used to.
Just eat food so you don't die, and you can watch our videos. Like, share, subscribe.
I'm a weirdo. It's like mother's milk.
Except it's what kind of juice is that?
I'm not telling you because you're a racist.
Is it watermelon? It is.
No, this is just juicy juice.
Okay.
Watermelon juicy juice. You're a racist. I don't like you.
It's okay. I'm Kevin.
That's Kevin.
That's Damon.
We're implicitly biased.
Absolutely.
Wait, that's supposed to be your job.
Oh well. It's 2020. It's a totally new year.
Oh, it's true. All right.
But I'm not done yet.
Here we go. So speaking of 2020 and it's been a new year, we kind of took some time off in December. I don't know if we necessarily planned for that, but it did happen. It did occur. And during that time, if I'm not mistaken, you had an anniversary.
I did.
How was
15
that?
years. It was good.
Yeah, 15 years. You guys had a good time. Good deal. And then did you guys have coitus, or as I like to say, XES?
You're so dumb. You can't even spell it right.
Did you have the XESs?
I can't tell.
You can't tell?
Gentleman doesn't tell.
So you didn't. But listen, what I'm telling you, what you should do is give her beef jerky.
What?
Beef jerky. It's like a natural aphrodisiac. Every time it's your anniversary, the day before, just start feeding her a bunch of beef jerky. And sure, hands down, but when it comes time, coitus.